I opened the app after 3 glasses of wine and a fight that ended with him calling me his mother's name. The fight where he slammed the bathroom door so hard, the mirror cracked into a smile that still refuses to fall. And in that cracked smile, I saw myself multiplied, each shard a different woman I never asked to be. So I swiped, not to cheat, not even to feel desired, but to confirm that I still cast a reflection anywhere at all. And the face that appeared first was his, older, grayer, unmistakable jawline that once leaned over the Thanksgiving table and asked me to pass the gravy while his son's hand traveled up my thigh beneath the linen. A memory I still can't decide if I enjoyed or endured, and I stared at that profile photo. Him in a navy polo, boat deck behind him, salt in the creases of a smile that always felt like a verdict. And I laughed, a dry, airless laugh that tasted of the copper penny I used to keep under my tongue to keep from screaming. And I tapped the screen, opened the chat, typed, "Hey Daddy," without thinking, because alcohol deletes the buffer between instinct and outlet. And I meant it as a joke, the way you hand someone a loaded gun and wait to see if they notice the safety is off. But the ellipsis appeared, pulsing like a vein in his temple when he lectures about compound interest. And then it stopped, vanished, replaced by the grayed-out text that said, I had indeed sent a photo of my bare breasts, the same breasts his son had bruised the week before while whispering, "I'm sorry, I just missed you so much." The same breasts I once pressed against the washer during the spin cycle so I could feel something other than the static of a marriage that had become a roommate agreement with dental benefits. And once the message was gone from my outbox, it wasn't mine anymore. It belonged to the fiber optic cables and the servers humming in a refrigerated room in Arizona, belonged to every screenshot that might be taken, every group chat where my nipples could become Exhibit A, in the case of how fast can a woman become a joke. And still I kept staring, waiting for him to type, imagining him in the study of the house I had visited for Christmas, the study that smells of cedar and unopened denial, imagining him unbuttoning that polo, reaching for the same jean his son carries, the one that makes them take what they believe is owed, and for a second, only a second. I pictured following the message all the way to its logical end, parking 3 blocks away, walking to the side door, letting myself be guided up the staircase where family photos stare like jurors, letting him do everything his son did but slower, with more precision, with the cruelty of a man who has already lost the moral high ground and therefore has nothing left to protect. And I felt the familiar clench of heat that always arrives when I hurt myself on purpose. The same heat that flared when I married a man who once confessed he liked the way fear looked on me. And the phone buzzed, a single line, no emoji, no punctuation. "You must have mistaken me for someone who still believes in accidents." And I realized he had recognized me instantly, probably knew before I did that this was not a misfire, but a summoning, and I should have deleted the app, thrown the phone into the toilet, claimed hacking, claimed anything, but instead I answered, "No mistake, I know exactly whose father you are," because the truth is I wanted to be caught, wanted the whole lineage to know that the woman they keep on the mantle in a silver frame smiles because she is baring her teeth, wanted someone finally to admit that the family crest is stitched together with my underwear. And we typed back and forth for an hour, each message shorter, more manicured, until he asked for tomorrow noon, room 214 at the motel off the interstate, the one with the flickering V that has been promising vacancy since the Clinton administration. And I said yes while my husband snored in the other room, snored the same way his father will snore after. And I set the alarm for 11, then reset it for 10, then for 9, because I wanted time to shave everything, to exfoliate, to stand in the shower until the water ran cold, and reminded me I still had pores that could close. And when morning came, I dressed in the same black jeans I wore to their last family barbecue, the ones his mother complimented before telling me I looked tired. And I drove the speed limit, no music, windows cracked so the wind could slap me periodically, and the parking lot was fuller than I expected, filled with trucks that had never seen mud and sedans with rubber wedding ribbons still fluttering from the trunk. And I knocked. He opened. He smelled of aftershave and the coffee they serve at funerals. And we did not speak. We placed our phones face down on the same nightstand where tourists before us had left rings of water and regret. And he undressed me like he was opening a parcel he had already paid to return. And I let him. I let him because I wanted to know if betrayal had a flavor, wanted to know if the ceiling tiles in every cheap room spelled the same word, wanted to know how far I could walk into shame before it started to feel like home. And when it was over, he kissed my forehead the way his son does after I cry. And I understood that some inheritances are not money or land, but the exact radius of the orbit a woman learns to travel around their hunger. And I drove back before rush hour, stopped at the same grocery where I once helped his wife pick avocados, and I smiled at her, waved, held up a ripe one like evidence, and that night I sat across from my husband at the sushi place that knows our order by heart. And I told him I loved him, and I meant it, because love is also a kind of confession, a constant admission that you keep choosing the same cell. And my phone has been silent since, but the silence is not empty. It is a room where two men breathe through the same wound. And sometimes I open the app, scroll to the top, stare at the empty chat, feel the weight of what was sent traveling the underside of my skin like a shard working its way to the surface. And I know that when it finally emerges, it will not look like a breast, it will look like a bullet. And I will pocket it, carry it to the next family dinner, slip it into the gravy boat when no one is looking, watch it dissolve into something we all pretend is seasoning, and we will eat, and we will ask for seconds, and no one will taste the metal, but it will be there, plating our gums, coloring the plaque we later scrape into the sink. And late at night, I stand in front of the same mirror, trace the crack with my finger, whisper goodbye to every woman I might have been, and I do not apologize, I do not ask forgiveness, I simply stand there, bare-breasted, bare-faced, bare of every name they gave me, and I wait for the next message I know will never arrive, because the crime is not in the sending, it is in the living after, and I am alive. I am so alive that the air hurts, so alive that I can taste the copper again, so alive that I open the app one more time, stare at the empty chat, and type a new message, not to him, not to anyone, just a string of letters that will never be sent, a code only I can read, and it says, I have become the thing that happens to them, and it tastes exactly like my own mouth.